only talk about what your social media says is trending. So let's get right back to it. It is now my great pleasure to welcome to America Trends for the first time Orange County Republican activist Ben Chapman. Hey, Ben, welcome to America Trends.
Hey, Dr. Dana, thank you for having me.
Hey, Ben, you are one of the most politically active millennials in social media, but like any group, like everybody's divided up into identity groups these days. We've got the evangelicals, we've got the blacks, we've got the Latinos, we've got the, Southern sorority, whatever. And people make the mistake of lumping all these different groups together as though there's like some group think and everybody's got the same mind. And people are starting to do that with the millennials themselves. What insights can you give us as to what really is important to the young voters today? How and why are you guys deciding on which candidate to support? So I started out by saying there wasn't a group think, and now I'm asking you to talk for everybody.
Well, identity politics is big, and we on the conservative side like to think that we don't play a role in identity politics, but I think we kind of should, because that's been used against conservatives for years. I mean, if someone believes in traditional marriage, they are labeled a homophobe. If
right.
Someone's if someone supports showing an ID, identification to vote, they're labeled racist. So there's all sorts of things. If you're pro-life, that means you're anti-woman. And so, I think conservatives need to start using that kind of in our favor. There are blacks, whites, gays, straights, older, younger, Hispanic, atheists, Christians, the conservatives of all different realms. And
right.
I think we need to start using our voice and social media as a tool to get our message out there a little bit more than we have been.
I think that's a great point, because I've posed the question before to different liberal friends of mine. I said, tell me exactly what is a black issue? What makes when I go to the grocery store and a loaf of bread costs twice as much now than it did when Obama took office?
Yeah.
How is that a different issue for me than it is for somebody whose skin is a little bit darker or somebody who's younger? Economic issues, checkbook issues, any social issue, what's really different about it for a different identity group? And I also don't think it's a whole lot different for anybody 25, whether you're 25 or whether you're 50. So I think we need to stick to kind of just the issues that every American, no matter what their age, no matter what they look like, that affect every one of us. And I think that we need to kind of get away from the labels. Instead of what I see in the conservative movement, I see them joining in the labeling. Now it's like they're defining for us what a conservative is. They're defining for us what establishment is. So they're kind of joining in the identity game, but kind of in the wrong way. One of the things that concerns me, because I've been a conservative since I was a kid. I mean, I can't remember ever. There's this old saying that if you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart. And if you're not a conservative when you get older, you have no brain. Well, I guess I never had a heart, Ben, because I never bought into liberalism, mainly because of economic issues. I can't understand why so many young people today are showing up for Bernie Sanders rallies, which is, while he offers free stuff, which even when I was 9 years old, I knew there was no such thing as free. Why are they falling for it?
Well, I'm a little bit in the older of the millennial range, and I grew up with basically you work for everything that you want in life.
Right.
I grew up in a middle class home, and now I'm pretty successful, and I know politicians local and statewide, and when I go to these college campuses and I talk to some of the students nowadays, unfortunately, it's becoming more of an entitlement society. We're kind of depending on big government to take care of us. We no longer think that the person who is in first place should be the only one getting a trophy, that everyone for just participating in something should get a trophy. And,
right.
and that's just kind of the government dependency that we're turning into as a society. And it's just easier that way. And that's what the younger millennials are seeing now, that it's just easy. It's a free ride. And someone else is going to take care of me, and that's the government.
Right. Well, the left did a really good job many years ago of taking over the media and the education systems and indoctrinating all Americans into the anti-Americanism that's being taught in our schools now, which includes a constant attack against the free market capitalist system, as well as every aspect that you're talking about in terms of culturally, that, of entitlements and everybody getting a blue ribbon. I mean, I was at a pizza parlor this past weekend, and the parents were all talking about how exciting it was that everybody got a trophy. trophy. Meanwhile, these kids were throwing pizza. I mean, I've never seen such hooligans, and they couldn't have been past the age of 4. I thought, good grief, I don't even want to be an American when these kids are, are older. And so, you're right. And I don't really know how we as conservatives, can kind of, how do we sell opportunity now and hard work to a society that is completely bought into the fact that they're entitled to everything? How do we sell that message?
I think it's all about fighting back. I think it's nice to be respectful and have disagreements and everything, but I think we still, as conservatives, we need to kind of grow a spine and fight back when people call us racists or bigots or anything like that, when we know we're not. Just get back to them with facts. I mean, that doesn't mean that conservatives need to get more liberal at all. Right. If anything, we just need to stick to our guns and just follow with our principles.
Well, I think we also need to come up with it to understand or find somebody who can help us craft a message. People have limited attention spans. Yes. And so they're buying off of bumper sticker platitudes. And I think that we need to come up with a way now to educate Americans as to the truth about economic principles in a way that's quick and concise and persuasive and engaging. And there's, because most Americans don't know that there's no such thing as free. They hear free college and they actually believe it. They don't understand that there's no such thing as government money, that every dime that goes out from the government comes from a taxpayer who earned it. So, we really need a candidate, particularly going into November, who can sell the beauty of free market capitalism, who can sell the beauty of hard work and reward and ambition, and counter it with teaching people and educating people as the fact that there has never been a successful socialist state anywhere ever. And what the left is trying to sell us is just the transformation of America into another failed state. Hillary Clinton was expected to be, she thought she was going to walk into it, the presidency, being the first woman, and she's really losing badly with the young female vote. Now, I know you're not a young lady, but do you care to chime in on that, Ben?
I work with a few other millennials online, social media. I run my Republican conservative page of about 90,000 fans on Facebook. And so I work with women, black conservatives, Hispanic conservatives, and they're not falling for the Hillary Clinton lies. I mean, she's a fraud. She's flipped on so many issues. She's gone so far left now because she wants to pander for the Bernie Sanders supporters, and she's just not getting away with it. And yeah, she walked into this thing, as you said, that she was just going to be the anointed one, and Bernie Sanders is giving her a run for the money, and people just see her as a fake. I mean, from day one, she's flip-flopped on all these issues, and a lot of the women out there that I've talked to, they see her for the fraud she is. A lot of my Democrat friends who are younger, they would choose Biden over Hillary. They chose Martin O'Malley over Hillary Clinton. I mean,
will they choose Trump over Hillary?
I don't see them going for Trump over Hillary Clinton, and only because I think that a lot of the Democrats that I've talked to, even as much as they dislike Hillary Clinton, many of the Democrats I've talked to said that they would vote for Hillary over Trump just because they don't want him to be president.
Well, thanks for being with us, Ben. I appreciate it. Now, coming up next is our rapid fire round with Wayne Allen Roots, so stay tuned for that. That's the fastest segment in TV. You don't want to miss it. And don't forget to vote in our daily poll question at u2america.com. I'm Andrea Kay. Stay tuned.